Hello YouTube, my name is Sean, and welcome to the Maryland Grafton Appalachia Railroad. And what better way to open up this debut video than with an unreleased Led Zeppelin song. And I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so I'm going to introduce you to this railroad, this little short line, and this is my fictional short line, and I'm gonna show you what you're seeing on your screen. So this is the MDG ANARR. It's a long report mark, but I can also use, if you want me to, I can use MGAR or MGAX if I'm talking about rolling stock. That I might reskin. Sometime I will reskin some rolling stock to go with the railroad. And I've already started reskinning some units actually, and they've been turning out sort of well. So anyway, this is a short line that's been inspired by many other railroads that I've seen or that have just inspired me or I fell in love with. So and yes, it is possible to fall in love with a railroad. And it's also based off of things that I've seen in my home state of Maryland, and things in my life pertaining to railroads. So, for example, the Maryland Midland Railway was founded in 1980. So I decided I might change the dates, but I decided that the MDG and ARR is founded in 1980. Now, one of the things that makes this railroad unique is that it started out as a family business, and that's unusual for, I guess, that time period, it was unusual for that time period, because usually you would see that way back yonder in the 1800s, way back yonder, and so yeah, because it has that family theme, so there's a family theme to the railroad, and the railroad really became something special. So that's that story. And so right now you see me building the MGAR. Okay, yeah, I gave up. I'm saying the shorter report mark. So right now you're seeing the section of the line that goes to Hagerstown. Because this route is based off of real lines that kind of pass through this area. For example, to get to Hagerstown, the MGAR has trackage rights with the Norfolk Southern to go on ex-Norfolk and Western trackage from Charleston, West Virginia to Hagerstown. And here at this spot, once it reaches the spot at Hagerstown, this is the original Western Maryland yard, the original yard for the Western Maryland Railway. And then CSX, if you see there's a Y at the far end where the camera is facing. There's a Y there. If you take a left turn out, that will lead you into the new yard that CSX has built still on XYM trackage. So this yard was I haven't decided when it was abandoned yet, but this yard is abandoned, and my fictional short line interchanges with the Maryland Midland. Yes, I interchange with one of the railroads that inspired me, so that's pretty cool. But it interchanges off of the remaining tracks that are still sorta in use. The remaining tracks of the YMCR, the Western Maryland CR. Also, if my voice cracks, you can laugh, because I laugh too. It's pretty funny. So yeah, that's kind of it for this area. Oh yeah, and the Roundhouse is currently still being demolished. And you can see I used these concrete slabs. I forgot who made this asset, but they're really good assets. And I got a little creative with the assets, and I just said assets like I don't know how many times. So anyway, so I got creative with the assets I have and set out like concrete foundation for the roundhouse that hasn't been demolished, because I guess you can't demolish it, and it's been overgrown. And you'll see later in the video that you'll see later in the video that I added some trees and shrubs and grasses to, like, right now I'm painting ground textures that kind of look like fallen rocks or debris. In this case, I'm using it for debris, and I believe Where's Prada created these textures, and they're really nice, and I think they got upgraded with the Tidewater Point Rail content pack. And I'm gonna take a breath. And I set up a little scene with the locomotive shops with Dave Snow's derelict buildings, and you'll see later that there's a steel beam that used to support the building, 2 steel beams, and I put 2 bulldozers next to it that are getting ready to demolish it. Yeah, this is the remnants of the original Western Rail and Yard, and it turned out really nice. Now, I want to talk about what this route used to be. So this route used to be a blob of inspiration, and it was a mess. So what happened was, I was inspired because of how I was inspired by many other railroads. I had one section of the route that looked like Miami, Florida, and then another section that looked like Pennsylvania. So I was just an amateur at route building, because this route is built on top of the first route I ever created for Trainz New Era, and I was kind of a rookie. But now as I've grown up and like my build style has changed, and I'm really happy with it. So, and everything turns out really awesome. So, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah. So, for example, I had this thing called Union Lake Pass, where there was a big lake and the railroad wrapped around it, and it gained a lot of elevation. But what got really unrealistic about it was the way I made it, is that there was an accidental 10% grade, and because the way I formed the terrain, so it was a mess, and I deleted it. So, mwahaha. I deleted it, and there's still parts that are of my amateurish days of route building that I'm still kind of deleting. But I still have it saved as a separate route. So if I ever want to come back to it and witness how horrible I was at building, I can always do that. And yeah, so let's see. I'm going to look at my index cards, because for some reason I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. No. What do you mean that's all I wrote? Okay, fine. So one more thing about this route. It takes place in 2012, or you can say like it can also take place 2018, but with CPL signals or color position light signals. So what happened was, I based this off of 2012 because what happened was CSX replaced the original Baltimore and Ohio color position light signals with the, I believe, SafeTran color light signals. Yeah, I just wanted to get the last time you'll ever see this little part of the legacy of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, and like I had it so that it was CSX is just replacing them, and meanwhile the short line, the MGAR, is still operating. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed me talking, I guess. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the time lapse, enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the cinematics. Alright, folks, that should do it for the debut episode of the MDG and ARR. I hope you enjoyed it. Yay! And I will see you. Wait, actually no. I want to thank out there all YouTubers within the Trainz community, and I want to thank you for inspiring me to do this, and it's been a really fun experience for me. So anyway, I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye.